Peace and high frequencies, everybody. I'm tapping in because I do want to talk about the dream I had a few nights ago. I've been waiting for a time to actually do this video. I wanted to do it the day that I had it, and I ended up going to work. I wanted to do it that evening, and my niece ended up having her baby, so I had to go to the hospital and sit with her and bring another ancestor into this realm. And I got to cut the cord on that one, which I've never cut the cord for a baby before. So yeah, all of that has been going on within the last couple of days. So, um, of, Galactic Honey just sent me a video that I watched that was on TikTok. She was able to send me the video of this lady who talks about a car accident in which she jumped timelines. And she really didn't know how she got 30 minutes away from her home. She didn't know how another car came and hit her from the behind, and she was in a neck brace in the hospital. But she was connected. She had said she looked down on her phone. Her daughter was on her phone. And next thing they were somewhere else that she was not used to. She said she was used to taking that same route. And she had never seen this place before. And she made a U-turn. She was getting ready to turn left. And this car came and smashed and hit her from behind. Reason why she was in the hospital with the neck brace on. All of this happened. Her child was in the car. She was hysterical. Didn't understand why. The mother that told the story, she didn't understand why. And so, timeline jumping and shifting, y'all, is very, very real. Timeline jumping and shifting, and which is the basis for this video and the dream. Because it can happen in this waking state. It can also happen in the astral plane, the dream state. Like, we are in like dream states all the time, right? Some of us are more connected to this matrix earth plane where we recall things here. And some of us are able to remember things that where we travel, astral traveling more. Sometimes, like myself, I'll go in and out. Like, sometimes I can remember things in the dream realm more than I can remember things here. And then vice versa. Sometimes I can remember things here more so than there, and then there more so than here. And sometimes I'll forget a day entirely here in this walking dream state. Like, I'll be like, what did I do yesterday? Like, I can't even remember what happened last week, but then I can remember a dream that I had 30 years ago. So it just, that's just what it is. Yesterday, I ended up, while I was at the hospital with my niece and her new baby, and his name is Seven, I was watching Infinite. I did want to go back and watch that movie, like I was sharing with her, because it was talking about reincarnating. And if you all have seen that movie, the whole basis of it were these infinite beings that reincarnate. And one side of the coin, one guy remembers everything. He remembers all of his lifetime. Whenever he starts formulating in the womb, he starts to recall everything, all of his existences. Then on the other hand, the other opposing side does not remember. He has to come in contact with different things. You know how we have something that may spark our memory, jog our memory. We may have to touch, it may have to be textile, we may have to see, we have to touch, taste something and be like, ooh, okay, this is like, I'm starting to remember something from this. Like, it feels nostalgic. You know how we have that. That movie kind of like made me think about our existence, especially with a new ancestor coming to this realm. And like I was telling her, he's back on Earth again. He's reincarnated. It is our job to help steward him into this life or whatever it may be for him. And whatever he is to learn, like, we don't know. But going into my dream I had, I believe this was Tuesday night going into Wednesday. And you all, I'll tell you, it makes a hell of a difference when you start doing different things around the house to clean up your space. And like my house isn't the way I want it to be, tip top, shape clean, but I've done a lot of organizing and moving things around and getting things, in order. And I started doing this a couple of months ago of just like getting things organized where it needs to be. I don't want to go into 2025 in a disarray. I want to go into it with a more clean space. And not like my house is dirty, but more so from an organized. Like everything needs to be in its place and start to keep it in its place. So I don't run into more chaotic energy. So that's really the goal. But going into the dream, um, as I go back into the memory space, I do recall first I was at a grocery store. And at the grocery store, we were looking at watermelons. And everybody was so excited because it was a whole big barrel of seeded watermelons. And people were running towards them because they were seeded. And then there was some that were cut in half. If you've seen it like different markets, they'll cut them in half and sit them on ice. It was some that were cut in half that were seeded where you could see the seeds in the watermelon. And that was one that I got. And it was $9.95. 14.5. Okay, so that's 9.9. 9.9 is 18. 18 is 9. 9 plus 5. 14. 14, that's 5. So that's the energy. That's the energy for the dream. 5. For all of my numerologists out there, people who dabble in numbers, the energy of the dream end up being in the 5. So that was the basis of the dream. Going into it was the number 5. So, in a dream, I remember I was with a friend and we were traveling. And it ended up being dark. And I usually know when I'm traveling, astral traveling, or going into another timeline or dimension, everything will be dark and no colors, not a lot of colors, but it's always nighttime outside. And so we were traveling. We was going to leaving the store, and we were told this white man at the store. Now it's starting to come back. The more I talk, the white man at the store was like, he can't believe that all of this is going on in the neighborhood, like right up the street on Carted, Cartheid, Cartheid or Cartede or however you pronounced it. That was the street name. He said right up the street is where they are growing cotton, still selling cotton and doing all of these things over here, and y'all don't know nothing about it. Right? So I was like, Cartede. So I was like, I gotta find this street. And when he said, I said, I know where this street is. I said, but I don't remember going over there and seeing this, right? So in this realm, this street is right off of Union, right before you get to McLean. It's in between where the fire station is. There's a fire station, donut shop, a Kroger's right there on Union, right before you get to McLean. It's one of those side streets right there. In this realm, it is. And that's where I was in that realm. So I'm leaving the grocery store. I'm getting in whatever travel machine I was in. We just say a car. And I see the street. I turn down the street. Cartheid. Cartheid. Remember, the energy of the dream is 5. So I turn down this street. There's a roundabout. Once I get in the roundabout, that's when I jump the timeline. So I go from being in what we may perceive as right now present day to what felt like the 60s or maybe even before. Hell, I don't know. Could be 50s or 40s or 30s, whatever. It was a while back, right? And so I jump. I see the fields of cotton that the man at the grocery store was talking about. I see the fields, and it's almost like when I was turning, it was almost like being in like the if you've all been to the Epcot Center, or you've seen like big screens in the movie theater, and then you're turning. It's there's different theaters that have it make it feel like you're surrounded, where you see everything above you and in front of you and on the side. Like that's what it felt like. I was getting shifted, where I could see these things shifting around me, like the cotton fields, the houses, like things started to shift, and it looked like it was set back like hundreds of years before I was. It was like, where am I? The houses were made different, all of that. So as it was shifting and I was looking at it almost like a movie, I ended up being inside of it. And at this point, it went from daytime to nighttime again. And I'm looking for a friend of mine. I'm like, okay, I gotta find, I don't know who I was looking for. And I'm on this street, Carthed. So I'm on this street and I get to this house. Now, when I get to this house, this is a rooming house. This rooming house has Black people in the rooming house that have been there captive, and they haven't been able to leave in this rooming house. And so I jump into this timeline that felt as if it wasn't slavery, but it was right afterwards or something. It was like the sharecropping era. Somewhere in there is what it felt like. So I'm in this house. I meet these people that are living in this house. I'm still looking for my friend. And some type of way, I was there for a while, and I'm talking to them. I'm just like, why don't you just leave? And they was like, we can't just leave. Like, where we gonna go? Like, we can't just go and leave. Like, I can't remember the name of the man, but like, if he come and he found out that we gone, like, he's gonna get us. He gonna kill us. He gonna boo 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 whatever. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I'm trying to persuade this man, and it was another woman too, persuade them to that they can freely leave, like they don't have to stay here. But what I did feel, it was an energy that was keeping them there. Now also, while I was in this house, I also was able to see like some type of massacre that had occurred with Black people in this town. So I then shift from the house to a third eye vision. And now I'm walking the streets and I'm seeing different parts being labeled as if I'm in a museum at this point. So now it goes from me being in the house trying to persuade these people, like, you can leave, you're free, you don't have to do this, like you don't have to stay in this man's house, this rooming house, like you can go, to I'm having a third eye vision of outside on the streets, seeing where a dead body was on the ground, and it was labeled like he had been shot and killed, and it was labeled like this happened here. It was a bag that was on the ground, almost like when you go to the Civil Rights Museum and they kind of like have a reenactment of when people are on, Rosa Parks was on the bus and they have a reenactment. They kind of like share different things that was going on and have it in the exact same place. Just like when you go to the Lorraine Motel and they have the hotel set up just like when Martin Luther King was there. That's how this was. It was set up just like this massacre, whatever had occurred in this town, had just happened, where I could see, and it had different labels by different things that happened outside of this grocery store, where a man was killed, somebody's bag had dropped and they left it there. Like all these things were on the sidewalk, on the street, just like I was at a museum. So I'm walking, and I'm not really walking, but it's like I'm moving and I'm seeing this, and it's hard to describe. If you have a third eye vision view, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going around, I'm going back, I'm looking at like, what is this? What is this trying to tell me? I'm trying to figure out like, what is this? What is this? What am I trying to see? What is it? What are you trying to show me? Why am I seeing this? So anyway, I jump back into the house. Now I go back to the house and I'm seeing a lot of these people were like Black war heroes. Like they had fought in some type of war, because I'm seeing that, and they stayed in this rooming house because it's kind of like all they could afford, but they really were exchanging like slave services, like working for this man to live there in this room and house. And they didn't know how they could leave. And then what it was told to me, like, okay, we're not gonna go, but if you don't go, you gonna get trapped here and you'll be here. And that's what really fucked me up. Cause now, and even though none of this was verbal, this was kind of like something was telling me telepathically, like, okay, if you don't leave, you gonna get trapped here trying to save them. And they're not trying to leave. They're not trying to be saved. So you got to go. Cause you seen what you need to see. And then I left, and the next thing I know, I'm up back here in this realm. And so, as I've had a couple of days to kind of reflect on that, because it was really deep. Like when I woke up, the energy was a little disturbing. I do have to say that. It did have me kind of like off kilter, kind of reflecting on what I saw. Why did I see that? Who was it that I saw? Was it somebody in my bloodline? Or was it just someone within my, star system that I was trying to say from another timeline? Not quite sure, but I was sent there to see that for a reason. And so the last part of it that really caught me was the fact that if I don't leave, I'll get stuck there. That I really wasn't supposed to be there, but I was supposed to be there to really help them. But actually, after they didn't take my help and they weren't receiving my help, I had to go. And I don't know if you all had similar situations in the astral plane like that, where you've gone different places, where you've went to assist with your angelic energy. You've went to help someone, in another dimension, because time and space isn't real, yet you can be able to travel within dimensions and timelines, and it doesn't matter to you. And you go to assist because you have that energy to assist. Yet when it's offered but it's not accepted, have you all felt that, like, okay, now it's time to go, or if you don't go, you'll get trapped, So that was what I want to share. And yeah, timeline shifting is real. And when she shared that video, it just brought that back to me, like, okay, you need to share this. You need to go ahead and do this video now that you have time, while everybody else is doing this Thanksgiving ritual bullshit. But whatever, to each his own. If that's what you do, that's what you do. Just know what you do and why you do. That's the only thing you need to do. Know why you do certain things. Know why you do certain things. If you go to church every Sunday, know why you're doing that. What is the root of that Sunday? What does Sunday mean? Why do you have to go on Sunday? Why not go Tuesday? Like, what is it about going and creating that ritual? Why do we have this particular holiday that has to be on a Thursday? Why does it have to be on Thursday? Why can't it be on a Wednesday, Tuesday, Saturday? It has to be on a Thursday, and it doesn't change. Like, for those of you all that celebrate Christmas, it's on the 25th, right? It doesn't matter if it's on Monday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, but this particular date has to be on Thursday. But why? Why does it have to be on Thursday? Why do you all have to go to church on Sunday? Like, like, I ask all these questions because I be wanting to know, like, but why? Why can't it be any other day? What's the meaning? What is the ritual around and the energy around Thursday that it has to be on Thursday? It has to be on Jupiter's day. Why do we have to have this on Jupiter's day? That's all I want to know. But anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you all. If you all wanted to definitely give me more insight into that dream of where I shifted timelines and went back to the early 1900s, definitely feel free. I am definitely open to hearing what your thoughts are about it. And you all know that I do not get on here and share dreams a whole lot. But I share them as they come and as I see that they are relevant to my oracle diary, because that's what this is. It's a diary for me to go back and reflect and listen to it, but also for you all to help your ascension, help you question different things that you may see in the astral plane, the dream world, and things that may come back to your remembrance of things that may have occurred, and help to awaken the sensitivity of your subconscious mind when you lay down and actually go into another realm. So, as always, I'm the Blackfoot Witch, and I leave you in peace and high frequencies, everybody.